place. I'm just playing around. If anybody's watching this, let's see. If I go to my YouTube channel, actually, stream live. Is there a link here? Testing 1 2 3 was the title of my last video. Concur. Oh, I think I have 2 viewers, so maybe this is live. Let's see. Is this where the chat is? It's been forever since I gone live, and I'm playing around. If anyone's watching, with some new software. I was just watching. There's a girl on YouTube that does Linux-based videos. Bread on Penguins, I think, is her channel name, and she was talking about some software that allows you to use your, DSLR as a webcam, which is something I've done before by modifying the firmware on this and using a HDMI cable, but it's all doing it through USB right now, and I just had to modify an FFmpeg command to get that going. So if this works, I don't know. Wife and kids are out of the house for an hour or so, maybe 2 hours, so I thought, get on here and do a live stream. Let's see, modification helps everyone feels. Close this. If anyone's watching, say something in the chat. There's definitely, like, I'm watching myself on YouTube. I don't know if there's any audio. And there's definitely, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Oh, so a 15-second delay. Let's see. Okay, current streaming bit rate is higher than recommended. We recommend that you use, okay, open widget. Let's see, what command did I use? I'm gonna do this. So, can I change that bit rate? I mean, I know I can, I'm just not sure where it is in the command. But that might be why I'm delayed so much. I think it's saying that I got 2 viewers now. So again, let me go to my YouTube channel. Metal X 1000. If someone's watching now, I apologize. Again, I'm just fooling around. If I get this and I know it's all working, I might talk for a bit about different stuff. YouTube's loading real slow. I wonder if it's because I'm pumping so much upstream. Thread size. FFmpeg, live stream. Oh, here's a place for a bitrate. So I have video and audio. Do I have that in my command? I don't. So if I kill this and start it again, what's going to happen? This here, kill this. That didn't kill that. Stop. Video codec. Okay. I killed it and restarted the command. Oh, yes, someone's here. Hi. Let me guess. Is it pre-recorded? No, this is not pre-recorded. If it was, it'd be a whole lot better. It's me fooling around. Yeah, the video was killed for a second. I was trying to, YouTube was complaining that I was streaming at a higher than recommended bit rate. And there was a 15-second delay in the video. So I'm just playing around with the settings in FFmpeg to try to get this working properly. Again, I'm playing around with some new software that's letting me stream from my DSLR through USB. This is something I've tried to do before with hacked firmware on the camera and using an HDMI cable. But I just watched a YouTube video from Bread on Penguins, which is another YouTube channel put out by a girl, I don't know her name. She recommended some software that allows you, it's called Webcamize, and it allows me to use my DSLR through USB on the camera as a webcam, which if I can do is going to be awesome. I mean, now I'm just messing around and playing around. If I can get things working halfway decent, again, I might talk about things in a little bit, but no, this is not pre-recorded. Let's see, stream health. Health is excellent. And before it suggested, if I refresh this page, will it give me new updated information? Stream health is excellent at 308. So hopefully when I change that command, it is streaming at a better bit rate now. So now here's a question. Let's see how much of a delay is in the video. So I'm going to, I can tell it's still probably 15 seconds or so. And that might just be from the way I started it. I clapped, but I didn't start counting. Okay, let's see. I'm going to clap, and now I'm going to watch my video on YouTube. It's been 5 seconds. It's okay. There's only a 6-second delay now. That's not too bad. Not too bad. You know, I'm talking. If you guys say something in the chat room, it's not going to be like 5 minutes till I see it. Oh no, it's complaining now. Our current bitrate, it's lower than before, but it's still complaining it's high. So maybe okay, it's saying 1,000 kilobits per second. So let me go over here. Reload this. Let me resize my terminal here. Yeah, okay, so I set it to 45. Okay, so it's suggesting 1,000, which is less than a quarter. So I'm going to kill the stream again, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Thing is, there's a delay because it's still... Okay. Okay, so let me check this out. I'm going to start counting. I'm going to clap. 3, 4, 1. Okay, so now it's like a 10-second delay. Anyway, I'm streaming. There's a little bit of a delay. Is the audio okay? Let me move this mic a little closer. So yeah, anybody watching? SAQ, if you're still watching. Let me know how the audio is, because I can adjust those levels. Yes, audio is okay. Awesome. Again, this is kind of just, I kind of just decided to do this because I was playing around with this new software. Keyken is here. Thank you for visiting. This isn't a tutorial or anything. I wanted to test out seeing if I can, again, stream from my Canon camera through USB using FFmpeg to YouTube. And I can, which is great. Now that I can use my DSLR as a webcam. And again, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I tried doing this before with hacking, what's it called, Lantern or something, the firmware on my camera to remove the overlays and then do the HDMI output into a capture card. And that worked. It was kind of a pain in the butt to set up. But just a little bit ago, I watched a video from another YouTube channel called Bread on Penguins, which is a girl. I don't know her name. I've been watching her videos for a while now. Very knowledgeable on, you know, lightweight Linux stuff. And she suggested this software called Webcaminize, which is just, I guess, just a bash script, it looks like, that uses Gphoto 2, which I'm pretty sure I've done videos on before, which I knew allowed you to take still shots and basically control your camera from your computer so you could take pictures and copy them too. But I didn't know it could stream video, but it's using that. And what was the other piece of software it was using? Do I have that GitHub channel open? I don't right now. But yeah, an FFmpeg, and now I'm streaming. Oh, let's see. My streaming looks, oh, your current bitrate 0 is higher than recommended. Okay, it's saying my bitrate is, okay, my bitrate's all over the place. Oh wait, no, it's bringing up old messages now. YouTube. Stream currently, yeah, it's streaming, it's saying that I'm streaming at over 6,000 kilobits, but I set it to 100 in the command. But of course I changed the video bitrate. Maybe I gotta change my audio bitrate as well. Anyway, everything seems to be working. So, yeah, now I'm just going to talk about some things. Let me bring up, because there were some comments on my previous video. that I can't remember right now that wanted to talk about. You know what's great? What made me happy today? There was an update to Brave. So for years, from when I went from Chrome to Chromium and now to Brave, one of the things I've done, and I used to do it back in Firefox way back, 2 decades ago, is I created shortcuts so that in my URL bar, I could type in 4 or 5 and hit enter, and it would go to a shortcut page. And it was a feature in Firefox. I don't know if it still is. And in Chrome, you kind of had to trick it by setting certain keys to be search engines, even though they weren't really. And about 3 weeks ago, there was an update to Chrome, which eventually made its way through to Brave, or I guess Chromium on the way to Brave, that disabled that feature. And I was reading it, and they just said there's no workaround. I wrote some JavaScript for my browser to kind of work my way around that, but it was a real pain. And then today it started working again, so I guess they went back to that functionality, which is nice. So let's see. Okay, so on my video that I posted yesterday, it was sharing your GPS location privately. And I use in that video some open source software for an Android device that, and I showed how to use it to send your GPS information, your location information to any server you want. So you can just set up your own web server and grab that information that's coming in through an HTTP request. And one of the first comments, someone said, just because you're sharing it privately, wait, let me read. I don't want to misquote somebody. To be clear, logging your GPS data on your own server doesn't automatically stop data from being sent to other servers. Duh. Okay, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's trying to make it clear for people, because in that video I was really trying to make it very clear for people who aren't tech savvy. But even if you're not tech savvy, right? If you have Google services on your phone and Google Maps, you know that they are, retrieving your location information. That's obvious. Obviously, if you just add software to also send it to your own server, that doesn't stop them from collecting it, which is, what he's saying is true. It's just really weird. Why would you even say that in a comment? And my response, I was trying to give a quick analogy, and it may not be the best analogy, but I said, that's like saying, just because you eat salad doesn't mean you're not eating meat, because if you eat salad and a steak, you're eating meat. Anyway, sometimes I don't understand why people comment what they comment. I don't know this guy. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I don't know if they're just trying to, I don't know. I don't want to say negative things about people. I just don't understand why people post things sometimes, their comments. I have another viewer who's regularly on my commenting stuff, but I have no clue what he's talking about ever. He says, he comments on a lot of my videos. I'm assuming that it's a translation thing, and I think it is so great. People who can speak multiple languages, and I don't know if this person speaks multiple languages or if they're just using some sort of translation tool, but it doesn't even seem like that, because some of their comments, I read them over and over and over again, and they just don't make any sense to me. Let me look at this video here. Was it this one? Okay, so my video on placing markers on a map. He says, thanks. I didn't know that. Okay. I have public phone number in the park, though, in case mine mobile dies. Oh, maybe he's saying in case my mobile dies, very useful. But I don't understand that I have a public phone in the park. Again, I think it's clearly a translation issue. I just feel bad is kind of my point. And someone gave him a thumbs up. Maybe he gave himself a thumbs up. Yeah, I just want to say I think it's great when people don't, they know multiple languages, or they try to speak multiple languages, because it's more than I would try. It's just frustrating to me, because sometimes I get comments that don't make any sense, and I just kind of think it's just like someone trying to be a jerk. And then sometimes it doesn't make sense, and it's a translation thing. And sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes it's real easy to tell, just in the ways they say. They're just poor at typing stuff, and they're trying to insult me. I don't think that's what this person's doing. But I think it's great, again, just that people try. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking at the chat here. Lately I've been using Flaken on my Pi 3B. I guess it can even play YouTube videos. You got any other recommendations that can work on low RAM or even a Raspberry Pi Zero? I'm not sure what Flacon is. Let me look that up. I actually have a video coming up on how much I don't like Raspberry Pis. I don't think it's gone public yet. Again, I record videos months ahead of time. I'm usually like, right now, I think I'm 3 months ahead. Patreon viewers get all those videos early. I still kind of spread them out for them, so I just don't bombard them with videos all at once. So lightweight, open source, web browser, developed by KDE. Okay, so you're looking for a lightweight web browser that plays YouTube videos. Okay, so if you're going to play YouTube videos on something low power, I just recommend using YouTube DL, right? Or one of the variants of it. Like I use something, I don't actually use YouTube DL. I use a fork of it, but then I just aliased it to YouTube DL. But I also understand that you want to be able to search for videos. I don't know. If it was an Android device, NewPipe is a great program. And I know that if you search like the Debian repositories, there's one or two, let me see here. Something called Minitube, maybe? Let me just type YouTube in my search here. Oh, there's a YouTube DL GUI. I haven't tried that myself. Let me search descriptions. But yeah, if you really want to go lightweight, I would recommend just using something. Here there's a YTFZF. A script used to find and watch YouTube videos from the terminal. So that's probably using YouTube DL and FZF. That sounds like a great tool. I'm going to look into that. I actually have it on my computer set up that I have, Vimium, which is a plugin for, they have it for Firefox and any Chrome-based browser, which gives you key bindings, Vim key bindings in the in your browser. So I have it set up that I just go to my YouTube subscription feed, and I just hit YF, and it puts a little characters next to each video, and then I type in the characters that it says, and that copies it to my clipboard. And then I hit the Windows key and Y, and it will stream that video using MPV and YouTube DL. So I still go to YouTube to look at my subscriptions, but I don't play things through YouTube. I play them through MPV and YouTube DL, which I highly recommend. It works great for me, and I don't have to worry about. Thing is, if you install any program, you're gonna have to type in your credentials to that to have it access your subscriptions. And I'd rather not have my YouTube's credentials stored anywhere, and I don't want to have to type them every time. So, I guess I'm still logged in my browser, but that's kind of, something just happens. Anyway, actually it says I haven't installed YouTube FZF. Anyway, sometimes you play with things and then you forget about them, but I would look into YTFZF as an application, because that's going to be a terminal, but then you can search through YouTube videos there. There's a YouTube DL-GUI that I haven't played with. I would check that out. Totem, which is a media player I haven't used in years. It looks like it has a plugin that a plugin for the Totem, that it might have some YouTube. And then there's SMTube, which I have installed. Let me run that. And right away when I open it, it gives an error. Sometimes things get blocked with YouTube. YouTube DL is great. Anytime something changes on YouTube, within 24 hours, it's fixed up, it's up and running. And YouTube DL is just used by so many things, or one of the forks of it. So that would be my recommendation. Let me get back to the chat room here. Oh, lots of people are saying stuff. Yeah. YTDLP is what I actually use. I just alias it to YouTube DL. I'm just reading through the comments here. No, not only for YouTube. So, yeah, you're just asking for a lightweight browser. And that's hard because there are lightweight browsers out there. Some of them function better with modern web pages than others. And I'm trying to think. There was a lightweight one. Obviously, there's some real light terminal-based ones. Dillo Dillo will work on very basic websites, but I haven't used it in a while. I think a lot of very more modern websites it may not function completely on. There's a guy I watch on YouTube who installs Linux on a lot of old, usually Mac stuff, and no, he was using some lightweight web browser. I don't remember the name of it. I was about to say it was Frog something, but that's the search engine he uses. Sorry, I don't have anything off the top of my head. Dillo is a lightweight web browser, but it's not going to function with a lot of pages. Why buy a car when you can weld shut? RPI is very closed. Yeah, I'm not sure. John P., you're obviously replying to something I said, but I'm not sure what. Okay, you have something else. Try finding the physical address to blink the ACT LED. Oh, okay, so we're talking about Raspberry Pi. Okay, so again, I have a video coming up on Raspberry Pi stuff, and they are very useful for a small, very niche thing. I have 4 or 5 Raspberry Pis. I bought a few of I think I started getting some with Raspberry Pi 2, and then I have a 4 and a 5, and each time I'm hoping they're better, and they always turn out to be overpriced and not very good. So let me explain that, and again, I have a video coming up on this, but I'll talk about it now. Raspberry Pis, their big thing, at least originally, was like, it's a $35 computer. Yeah, except for you're probably going to want a case for it. You're going to need an SD card for it. Power supply used to be any USB cable, but now you need a high power USB cable, otherwise it's going to bog down. And last one I bought, even though I bought a high quality USB cable for it that's supposed to supply and a high amperage power supply for it and all that stuff, I was using it on my arcade in the back room, and I was running MAME, and it would just randomly restart. And I think it was just there was too much power being drawn to it, and I had to buy a little heat-seeking fan for it. When you're all said and done, a Raspberry Pi setup, unless you already have all the accessories, which you may or may not, HDMI cable, you're looking at $75. You can buy a halfway decent old either a Chromebook or a ThinkPad for about that price. And it's going to be way, way more powerful. Or you got a keyboard, or you got a screen, or you got a case, or it's got a battery built in and power supply, and it's going to be so much more powerful. So, and that's why I bought old ThinkPads. I've got a ThinkPad. My wife's got a ThinkPad. Both my kids have ThinkPads. I have a ThinkPad as a Nextcloud server, and I have a ThinkPad hooked up to my TV, and I have a 15-year-old ThinkPad as another backup server. I also have a Raspberry Pi as a backup server, and every time I log into it, it takes 10 seconds for SSH to log into it. But just because I have multiple backup servers. But all of these are way, 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 way faster than any Raspberry Pi, have built-in SSDs that are way bigger than what you would have on a Raspberry Pi in most cases, and they all cost me between $100 and $150 used on eBay, right? Again, with touch screens, keyboards, mouse pads, multiple USB cables, and you don't have to worry about them being undersupplied when it comes to power. And yeah, I paid between $100 and $150, but again, you can get old Chromebooks that you can flash and put full versions of Linux on there, way more powerful than Raspberry Pi, with all the things for the same price that a Raspberry Pi would cost you. Now, I know they have like Raspberry Pi Zeros and whatnot. I've never got my hands on one of those. Those came out, they were like, oh, it's a $15 computer. Well, then it's another $10 for shipping, and then you're going to have to get all these accessories. It's still going to cost you a lot. It's not going to be as powerful. So that's one end of it. Now, the other end is some of the stuff people do with Raspberry Pis. A Raspberry Pi is overkill for it and way overpriced. Literally, I love ESP chips, ESP8266 and ESP32s. I have them all over my house. They're $3 or $4. They're teeny tiny. They're instant on. They have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth if you get the ESP32. The only thing you have to wait for is it might take a couple of seconds for it to connect to your Wi-Fi when you turn it on. And if you're just looking to turn something on and off, check if something's turned on and off, detect the temperature in a room, basic things like this, they are going to be faster at turning on because they're like instant on, like I said, and they're only $3. And then yeah, you need a USB cable to power it, or you can actually just hook a battery or some sort of power supply to the pins. It's going to cost you less than $10 altogether, and it's going to work better than a Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is going to be overkill for that because your boot process and all of that. And some people like argue, oh, it's too hard. When you want to know one programming language well, you can know them all. And there's so many examples for Raspberry or for the ESPs that you can use right in the Arduino, SDK. Yeah. Anyway, interface. And there's so many examples, and 99% of what you're doing is checking if something's on or off, or turning something on or off, and then doing HTTP requests to either send that signal or receive that signal. And it's just, you could put a whole bunch of these around your house, like I have. I have multiple ones in rooms that with temperature sensors. So I have $3 for the ESP, another $3 for a power supply. It doesn't have to be a super advanced, high power supply, and like $1.50 for a temperature sensor. Now I know what the temperature is, and just every minute it takes that, collects that information, does an HTTP request, and logs it to my web server. I can open up my phone. I have a little link to a web page that I actually packaged up as an APK for Android. I go there and I can see the temperature in all my rooms within the last minute. I log all that so I can also make a chart out of it and see, what the temperatures are going. I actually have one that I shoved in the AC unit in the garage. So I can tell when the AC unit goes on and off because it immediately drops to like 55 degrees or something when it turns on. Because your AC unit, no matter what you set your AC unit to, the AC unit's always going to be running at full blast until it gets that temperature and then turn off. I have one in my attic to check the temperature up there, just out of curiosity. I have some hooked to the water pumps on my house, so I know how often and how long they run. If they run too much, I get alerts on my phone, because I did have an issue years ago where there was a problem. My pump kept turning on and off until I called someone out, and the pump had turned on and off so much that it actually snapped off underground. And that was a $900 fix, and that was actually a good price at the time. Probably cost me closer to $2,000 right now. Now I have these sensors hooked up. Waterproof enclosure was $3 or $4. ESP was $3 or $4. A power supply for it that I was able to hook to the pump was $3 or $4. We're looking at about $10 worth of stuff, $12 worth of stuff. And now, not only do I have logs of when those pumps are turning on and off, I also have that peace of mind that if there's a problem, I will start getting texts on my phone, but I can also check it with my phone. And also, a lot of the lights in my house are controlled with one of these devices. With a little signal thing. Anyway, I've talked about that quite a bit. There are times where Raspberry Pis are useful, and that's when you need something really small, maybe to tuck away behind a TV. But even then, they sell what they call them net tops or something like that. That might be a better option. They tend to be a little more expensive, but you get a full enclosure and all of that. Let's see. Let me look at what people are saying. Let's see. But yeah, there are definitely sometimes where Raspberry Pis are good, but I think they're overpriced for what they are, and people use them for things that I think other devices would be better for. Yeah, Dillo. Yeah, I'll have to try the Fallen or Falcon web browser. I'm not familiar with it. Like all Bash script stuff, commented on your last building skyline video, posted in the link your work in Pastebin, but it was deleted. Probably YouTube doesn't allow it. Oh, someone just... here's one sent back from me for... So, I don't know how this works. I've seen this on other YouTube videos. Did someone just give me €9? Is that what that symbol is for? Did someone just pay me? Unmanageable bird? If so, thank you. He says, here is 1% back from me for that $900 bill. Oh, for the pump. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, those pumps are close to $900. The guy who installed it gave me a good deal. He was a friend of a friend and just starting his business out. But yeah, again, that was years ago. And hopefully I don't come across that again with my little sensors. But thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know if I had to set that up. So I guess that's going to go into my, yes, sir, unmanageable bird. I appreciate that. Okay, going to get a ThinkPad T4800 or 480 and upgrade the RAM and SSD. I find no reason to upgrade the CPU because it doesn't support any more than 16 gigs. The T480 has 32 to 16 gigs of RAM support. Yes, so I think me and my kids. Okay, yes. So my wife has a T470. I have a T490S, and so do my kids. And then I have also a T480 that was my second laptop. That since then I do have a desktop that I bought during Black Friday because I needed something with a GPU card for doing some 3D rendering stuff. Other than that, everything else I do, the ThinkPads are great. And yeah, I wouldn't go any lower than the T480 for one reason. My wife has the T470. And the one thing that I don't like about it is that's before they switch to USB-C for power. So she has a big clunky square power supply. I like that all new laptops, or most new laptops, use USB-C, and these laptops have two USB-Cs, and it seems like either of them can be used to power the device, which is nice, because if somehow you break one of the ports, which I've never done, but I've seen people break power supply ports on their motherboard on their laptops, you always have that second port to plug into. I will say, I do feel, because I've used the T480 and the T490 both a lot, I want to say the T480 only has 4 cores, and the T490 has 8 cores. Check the price differences. If there's a big price difference, yeah, go for the T480. I've been very happy with it, but I feel like the T490 is slightly faster, and you might be able to find it for about the same price. Let's see. We got STM32. Power consumption and ease of use. I'm assuming, is that like a ESP32? I'm not familiar with that. I'm going to Google that right now. Okay, yeah, some sort of board. I will definitely. So it says it's an ARM core. So is that going to run a full like Linux operating system? That'd be great for certain things. See, I like the ESP32 because it's just a microprocessor rather than a whole computer, depending on how you define those terms. And so it's instant on, and it does, you have to do very basic things. And again, for a lot of things, if I need more complex, I'd much rather have a laptop. But there are times where you might want a small device that has more advanced things. And an example of that is if I wanted to set up some security cameras. And yes, you can get a cheap little camera to go on an ESP32, but the quality is really horrible. I think it'd be great to get something small like a Raspberry Pi that I could plug webcams into and put up around my house, and then have it save video and then sync that to like my Nextcloud server somewhere else, off-site maybe. And the thing is how much are these things? I would love if I could find something like that. It wouldn't need to be fast at all, just enough to step like a web server and grab some video. And I would like something like that for less than $10. About a decade ago, there was a project out there. Excuse me. I've bought a few different Raspberry type things. Like I think I have an Orange Pi, and then there was a chip computer. And both of those, the chip computer was really a $9 computer. If there was any shipping, it was only a few dollars, so maybe it was $12. Not nearly as powerful or as convenient to use as a Raspberry Pi for beginners, but it was definitely a cool little project, but it died. The Raspberry Pi has been around for a while. I think the Orange Pi, like I said, I have one, but I haven't really used it much. I have a few of them lying around. But yeah, I could see using a device like that where it's a full Linux device for something like that, like a camera server. So maybe I could plug a few cameras into them, or even if I had them around the house, because you could buy these cheap cameras, web cameras that are running Linux, and if you know what you're doing, you can maybe modify the software. But they're all from China, and they all clearly have spyware on them. And then you also have the more expensive ones from companies here in the U.S. that are also spying on you. And as I said in a previous video, at least when you buy the cheap Chinese stuff, they're easier to get into and modify. So if I had a choice between buying something from Google or Apple or Amazon, or Ring doorbell, or a Chinese, cheap Chinese device that is also spying me, I'd rather get the cheap Chinese device, figure out how to get a root shell, and try to kill and replace processes on it. But I really don't trust any of them. So right now at my house, I do have some cameras that are wired down. Originally I had a little box that they went to that ran Linux, but I couldn't get a shell on. I took that out a couple of years back, and I got just a USB not coax, USB component connection, an RCA connection, capture card. So it's actually hooked up to my old ThinkPad, the one that's like 15 years old, and it can flip between the different cameras and record some video from them. So I know that there's no device on my Wi-Fi that's recording stuff, but it'd be great to have a little Raspberry Pi type device that I could get for less than $10 and hook a cheap web camera to. Another thing I might do, I just took this out of my car. So this is a dash cam that I've had in my car. I have the same one in my other car. Started having issues where it kept turning off, and then I'd wiggle the power cable, and it would turn back on. You don't want that with a camera. You want it recording all the time when the car is on. So I bought another one that's actually a Wi-Fi one that you don't connect to your Wi-Fi. You connect to it, and then there's an app that you can get to stream it. So I actually was working on. So I'm going off thing. Anyway, turns out it was just the USB cable, not the camera. I think the connection on the camera. So I actually might just stick this in my window and record to the SD card. It's not storing it somewhere else. If someone broke in my house, I could grab this, tear it away, and it's no use to me. But if it's pointing out my front door, if something happens in my front yard, at least at that point, I'll have video of it. I have one by my front door that's pointing down at the entrance, but I want something pointing more out down the driveway. So I might just plug this in. It was like $20. And like I said, just saves the SD card. But I would love to have one that does Wi-Fi that can send the video somewhere else. So if someone breaks my house and steals the cameras, I can have the video stored somewhere else. That's useful. But back to the one that I just bought that has Wi-Fi. Again, $20, and it actually has a camera that points forward, back, and then there's one that's actually right here. I haven't hooked up, that goes on the trunk or in the back window, so it can be recording back behind you as well, all at the same time, which is pretty neat. And it saves to an SD card, and I can take that SD card out at any point, but it also has Wi-Fi functionality. And I didn't think I was really going to use that, but I thought it'd be fun to play with. And it turns out I thought you were going to connect to it and then through software have it connect to your Wi-Fi, but it's not. You hit a button on it, it turns into an access point, and then you log into it. You connect to it, and then there's an app that you use. And obviously it's a proprietary app that I am not going to use. I installed it on a test device just to see if it worked, and it worked. And then what I did was I connected to the camera with my laptop. Did a port scan, found some ports opened, checked them, see if there's any video coming out of them I tried VLC and an MPV. And then I took the APK and decompressed it, decompiled it, unzipped it, whatever you want to say. And then I ran a search on strings in there and found the URL that seems to be the stream. But when I try to connect to it with MPV or VLC, it just kind of sits there and never actually displays anything. So then I installed a packet sniffer on the phone and sniffed and connected to it, and it came up with the same URL. So I'm sure I'm connecting to the right computer, because there's only two computers on the network, the computer or phone I'm connected with and that device. But I'm connected to the right port. But I don't know if there's another command that I have to send to enable it, or some options I need to give to MPV or VLC to get to play the video. Because a similar thing happened right now when I was setting up this recording session. I ran that webcamonized software that I'm using to stream right now, and I tried just MPV to dev, video, whatever, and it sat there and never actually played anything. And then I looked up some other things, and I had to add some arguments there to get it to play the video. So I need to revisit that, because that would be neat. I don't want to have the app installed on my phone, but if I needed to on the road get video off that camera, it'd be nice to be able to have my own bash script on the phone that I can click, and it can pull down the saved videos to my phone without having to install an app. Because I do on my phone, a lot of what I do are just bash scripts through Termux, and you can set up Termux to have icons on the desktop to run certain bash scripts. So I do that a lot. So I could just figure out a bash script, connect to that camera, press a button, and just have it dump all those videos to the phone if I was able to figure it out. Anyway, maybe I'll do a live stream on that. Let's see. Do you have a local AI LLM server? Any recommendations that can run on the Raspberry Pi that can help me code Python and Bash? Okay, let's talk about AI. People have extreme different views on AI, and I feel like I'm kind of in the middle in some ways. First of all, AI is a tool, okay? So some people act like it's the most horrible thing in the world, and it's not the most horrible thing in the world. It's how you use it, right? I think that's obvious, but some people just hate anything to do with AI regardless of what it is. And I think AI can be used for really good things. I think it can be used for really evil things, and I think it can be used for really stupid things. So let me elaborate on my opinions, okay? Example. The other day, someone shared a video with me, and it was Gen Z if they had selfies, and they had these. It was a slideshow of pictures of like Rocky Balboa with what's his name, Dolph Lundgren passed out in the background taking a picture of himself. Doc from Back to the Future taking a selfie with the DeLorean getting struck by lightning in the background. And one of the first comments on that, and I thought it was clever, it was a neat little thing. One of the first comments was, technically none of these people are Gen Z. It was like, yeah, they were actually probably older. But the next comment was, I don't care about this because it's AI. What a stupid reason not to care about something. And you know what? Another video I saw recently was Baby Podcast, I think it was called. And there's two of them out there, at least the other day there was, where there's this baby interviewing a dog, right? And the baby's got a man voice, and the dog's got some lady voice, and they're talking back and forth. And it's clearly AI, it's the lip syncing isn't perfect, but it's very, very funny. Now, some people won't like that just because it's AI. And they'll be like, oh, the computer's doing all the work, it's taking people's jobs. I look at that and said, somebody had a very funny idea. And without AI, that person would not really have been able to make that. Maybe they would have been able to draw some sort of cartoon, but it wouldn't have been the same. A big studio could have done something like that, but they wouldn't have. The time it would take to animate, 3D models and do the mouth things. That allowed someone who had a creative idea to actually create something that was funny. And maybe he didn't have the skills or the resources to build 3D models and animate it and try to make it look photoreal as you could. But that AI allowed that person to do that. That is great. AI will give people power to where maybe before they wouldn't have the ability to do something because they didn't have the resources, but now they can. Now, and there's a few things, there's a lot of videos, I've kind of gotten tired of them at this point, but there's a lot of channels out there that do they'll take modern movies and then make movie trailers of that movie if it was made in the 50s. I found those really, really entertaining. Again, they're kind of overdone now. They're just all over the place. But I still think it was a great thing. And yeah, that allowed somebody who doesn't have a big studio, doesn't have, all these actors and skills, but maybe they had an idea. And they're now able to do it because of AI. And I think that is great. I know I haven't really answered the question yet about suggestions on AI, but I'll get to that. Some people are concerned, it's going to take people's jobs. Yes and no. First of all, if you can be replaced by a machine, you should be replaced by a machine. That's kind of my view, and that might be a very unpopular view amongst certain people. But again, let's take programming also as an example. Let's actually stick to the art thing for a moment. There have been times I'll take a picture and I want to cut out the background, and I can go into GIMP and I can go around it, but going around people's hair is hard. There's a website I go to now. It's a proprietary thing on a server. That's a whole nother story. But just the concept of being AI, I drag and drop a picture on there, and it cuts out the background from me, and it does it in a few seconds. It does a really good job, and it does a better job than I would if I did it by hand. They want you to pay for a high resolution one, but you can download the low resolution. And usually, if I'm cutting out the background to paste it on something, it's not serious work for me, so it doesn't matter. And I've used that service a lot. And again, ignoring the fact that I'm uploading images to a server and it's proprietary software running on another server, just looking at the AI aspect of it, it saved me time. Yeah, I could sit there and cut out the background. It's a tool that helped me. And if someone was doing video where they need to cut out the background for, a whole video, that's amazing, where people used to rotoscope stuff out by hand. That also being said, when you see AI stuff, and yeah, it's slowly getting better over time, but if you see it and it looks really good, someone probably put a lot of work into getting the AI to do it well and maybe touched it up after. But even when AI isn't great, like it's bad with hands and stuff like that. And then we all know what AI looks like, right? When you see these little videos and people are moving around and it kind of looks weird. We know what it is because we're used to it. If you took that same little clip and went back in time 10 years, people would just think that it was some sort of CGI made by a person. And it is helping, like, right, people, even bad CGI, I almost got out of the camera there, bad CGI, bad AI, animations and stuff are still better. If I go to a website and I give it a prompt and say, hey, give me a photo of a ninja jumping off a roof, and it will generate a ninja jumping off the roof, even if his hands look messed up. It does that in a couple minutes. If I needed to draw that, I would not be able to draw it as good, and it would take me forever to draw it. Or if I wanted a photo one, I would have to get a ninja costume. I'd have to get someone to wear the ninja costume. I would need to get a camera. The AI has freed me from all that, right? Now we've looked at it from an art aspect of it, programming aspect of it. I don't have much use for it. So first of all, again, this is going to be frowned upon by a lot of people. I don't think there should be any commercial software, period. There shouldn't be any proprietary software. But even open source commercial software, to me, software should be something that people do. I write software because I like writing software. So the concept that AI is going to replace all programmers might be true in a commercial sense, which I don't care about. Okay? I write software because I like writing software. Okay? And I think people who are passionate about software are passionate. Look at it also, like back in the day, before we had cameras, people would get portraits done. Who would get portraits done of themselves or their family? Rich people. Cameras came along, and that opened up to maybe the next class down. It was still probably expensive, but eventually we all have cameras and we can all take pictures, right? And that allows everybody to have photos and prints of themselves up in their house, which is great. Artists are still around. Yeah, you probably don't know a lot of people who paint portraits of people, but there's never been a lot of people who did that. Having these tools opening up to more people, okay? And when it comes to software, and people who paint, if that's what you like doing, you're going to do it. It's like musicians. Yeah, I can get AI to write music, I guess. And here's the thing. Pick your favorite song. Think of whatever your favorite song is. Now imagine you've had this favorite song, you've loved it for years, and then all of a sudden you find out that it was made by AI. Do you now not like that song? Why? If it's still the same song. Now there's a little bit of an aspect, and I've talked about this in the past, where most of us, we like music, but when you're a teenager, you are really deep into music, and you idolize these musicians, and a little bit in that aspect, yeah, because you'll hear lyrics and maybe you're like, oh, I can, that person, they get me, you're a teenager. So you think, oh, I can relate with this artist. They understand how I feel, which they may or may not. And if they do, it doesn't matter. But when you're, that I can see that aspect of it, where if it's a computer, you're like, oh, it doesn't really relate. They're not really relating to me. It's just a computer, whatever. If you like a song, who cares how it's made? Who cares if they sampled? Yeah, if you sample, you should give credit to who you sample from. Just to give credit. But if you like a song, you like a song. Same with art. When it comes to software, I write software because I like writing software. I think I write software sometimes because I need something done, and sometimes I've written so many video games that I don't think anybody ever plays. I play them, but I make them because I like making them, and I post them online hoping that someone gets some joy out of them. So AI doesn't really interest me in many of those aspects. But as far as running an AI server at home, no, I really don't have any need to or desire to. They take up a lot of power for the most part, from my understanding. There are a couple of things that maybe I could see, like if I could get a program that runs AI locally that cuts the background out of images, and it's free and open source, and so is the language model for it. Yeah, I could see myself using that, but really I'm not. For the most part, AI doesn't interest me because I like, okay, so there's so many aspects to look at it too. I've talked about this in the past too. One of the things I really like about computers, and I feel like a lot of people who are really into computers feel this way, it's a common thing, that when I tell a computer to do something, it does what I tell it to do. It does that and nothing more. So anything I put into it, it's going to give an output based on what I tell it to do. If it doesn't give me the right output, it's my fault. With AI, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what the results are going to be. And that's scary in some aspects. You know, if you're generating a picture, it's not a big deal. But if you're relying on it for something important, that's just scary. But no, I don't have any recommendations on software for AI. I haven't looked into it much. It doesn't matter much to me. Let's see. ESP32, STM32, Raspberry Zero are all great competitors. I need to look into this STM32 to see more about it. Raspberry Zero W is the best. And a thumbs up recommendation. How much does that actually cost you? Is my question. After you get a power supply, SD card. Does that one have an SD card? Like some of them have built-in memory now? I don't even know. Even the RISC-V ones are good. Okay, so fighter for your topic. Did you ever have to deal with electric vehicle fires? Are they happening more often than combustion engine fires? Trying to get real-world firefighters. Okay, we have had lots and lots of training on electrical vehicles. and at one point it was like, oh, it's this color cable. You don't want to cut that. Well, but then there's another manufacturer and they have a different color cable. And I have not had any electric vehicle fires myself. I have had vehicles that have been torn apart and we need to cut part of the vehicle open, but we don't know what wires are live and not. And I can only think of one case where that was the case, and it wasn't, we weren't in a hurry, okay? It was a vehicle accident, one person did die, another person went to the hospital. The car was literally torn down the middle. They hit a tree, and the front of the car split in half, where when we pulled up, it looked like two vehicles back to back, but it was actually the same vehicle. We were able to get the one guy out because the car was split open. The other guy was dead, sadly. We had to come back a few hours later because the tow truck couldn't get the car onto the tow truck because of how the car was split up. And so they came back, they had us come back, they wanted us to cut the car the rest of the way in half so they can get each half onto a tow truck. And we had to wait a while just to make sure. We were pretty sure that the power was cut, but we weren't 100% sure. And so we just had to wait on that. So I haven't had any fires, and I have had a number of vehicle fires from regular cars. I've had fires where someone just picked up their car from the shop and the mechanic left the owner's manual in the engine and the heat caught that on fire. I've had another one where a guy dropped a car off at a mechanic and they took it out for a test drive, and all of a sudden while they were driving, they were a block away from the mechanic shop and flames just started coming out from the center console. But also, I mean, electrical vehicles are new. It's been a little while. I'm just trying to think. I've had a number of car fires over the years. But I can't think of any electric car fires that I've had. If that kind of answers your question, they are becoming more and more common. I don't know the percentage of electric vehicles to gas and diesel powered vehicles out on the street right now. There are a lot of Teslas and Cybertrucks around where I live, at least. Let's see. The new Pope is from the US. I did not know that. I knew they were looking for a new one. Okay. Let's see. By the way, I managed to install Ollama on Termux, installed models on it. By the way, my phone is non-rooted, but was able to install and use some mini models. Okay, I'm not familiar with Ollama. I'm assuming that's some sort of language model AI, since that was the topic we were talking about. And that actually makes me think, I did a video not too long ago on Futo, the keyboard and voice-to-text application on my Android device, which works great. And in that video, I referred to it as open source. And that's because the video I watched about it originally referred to it as open source. And they have a GitHub page with the source code. But technically, based on its license, I guess it's not open source. It's definitely not free software. I mean, it's free in cost. They ask you to donate $5. I think it works great. But I guess even though the source code is available, the license says you're not allowed to modify it, so it's technically not free or open source. Someone referred to who commented on the video correcting me. I think they referred to it as source code first, which I've never heard of before. But I have heard of source available, which is how I would describe this. So it's not a free license, but the source code is available. It's still better than, it's one of those hard things because there are true free and open source voice to text applications out there. They don't work nearly as good. And if I have to constantly stop and fix punctuation and spelling of stuff, then it's not worth my time to do voice to text. I might as well type stuff out. And although I prefer free and open source software, I also want to use what works best, which 99% of the time is free and open source software. So I wanted to bring that up, and I bring that up because that supposedly, I'm pretty sure, uses some sort of AI locally. So yeah, I guess I do use some AI in that aspect. Bird the Pope, the one who died, the next one. Yeah, I'm assuming he means the one I know they were getting ready. The newly elected one. So happens international. Shadow Govs, you manage to stay fit. Do you do something additional to your job? Okay, so unmangled bird or unmanageable bird is fitness topic. Okay, so I'm getting old. I'm 44. I started working out when I was around 10. I got my first comic book, Daredevil comic book, and he worked out in it. And then I started getting more, and I'm just like, well, these superheroes are working out. I need to start working out. So I've been exercising since I was 10. I've had to modify over the years because I am getting old. Ooh, the battery light on my camera is flashing. If I go out, I have another battery right here that I'll swap into. I've had to modify because as I get older, even if your muscles are strong, your joints are not the same. Plus, I have had reconstructive knee surgery, and I've had a bicep tear, and I have back problems. But I have moved. I still use dumbbells and stuff. I don't have a gym membership anymore. We have a small gym at work, but it's just mostly dumbbells and a bench and like a lat pull down machine. In my garage, I've been trying to do a lot of calisthenics. I got some dumbbells out in the garage. I have a dip bar. I have Olympic rings from the ceiling where I can do pull-ups and rows. But mostly I do push-ups, dumbbell stuff, lunges for my legs. I really feel like I could do more of my legs, but it's hard if you don't have machinery. I wish I had a leg sled machine, but that would be expensive. But yeah, pull-ups, push-ups, curls, tricep extensions, dips, and lunges are most of what I do. And then I go for walks. Today I went for a walk and I did a little bit of jogging, which I normally don't do because jogging tends to irritate my sciatica. But yeah, as I say to younger people, as you get older, you just got to keep moving. And that's it. It's hard because as you get older, you also get more tired. It used to be easy. Back in the day, if I got tired, I would just push harder. But now if I push harder, I hurt myself. So I do slightly higher. I used to do everything 6 to 8 reps. And that worked great when I was younger with weights. If I could do more than 8 reps, then the next time I would increase the weight. If I can't do at least 6, I would lower the weight. And when I was younger, I would keep track of that. And I would, increase when I needed to increase. Now, like I said, like when I do bicep curls, I'll pick up 20-pound dumbbells and I'll do 6. I count to 60, but it's each arm, so I'll do 30 with each arm. And then once it's tired, then I'll grab, I'll go up a little bit. But yeah, I can't lift as heavy as I used to because joints. Let's see. Sorry for throwing. Throw topics out. Gives me things to talk about. I do not go on Discord servers with Chris, so I'm throwing out the topics. Yeah, I don't use Discord. Never have. I use Element or Matrix with the Element thing. And you know what? I've mentioned in my videos, I've invited people. And I kind of have this vision where I have a channel where people talk with each other. And I have a handful of people in there. And some of them are real nice, and they've been in there for a couple of years, and I talk to them, And it's nice and quiet for the most part. Like if someone has something to say or share, we share it, and not many people comment on it. We have recently had a guy come in who's clearly a younger guy, and he just wants to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then he's like, "Why is nobody talking?" And I was kind of like I actually posted a video clip from what was that? Oh, Vampire Hunter D, which is an old anime movie. And there's a quote in that movie where this kid's talking about people who are quiet. He's like, "My father said there's two type of people who are quiet: those who only speak when there's something important to say, and those who are quiet because they're constantly thinking of evil things to do," or something like that. And then he tried to turn that into a whole political thing, and I feel bad because I think I was kind of nasty to him a little bit. But I saw that channel, and I check on it, but I have the notification silenced because people were talking too much in it. And then also people come and they want to talk to me directly, and I kind of have a vision of community where you go there to talk with other people, not necessarily me. But yeah, I mean, anyone's welcome. The link's on there. You can do it right through the web browser. You don't need an application. And you can create an account, and it doesn't even have to be on that server because Matrix lets you create things different. Yeah, but I've never done a Discord thing. I may have logged into a Discord server once. There was a couple of years ago, I wanted to play around with AI, since that's a big topic today, to where, these image generation things, and some of them, I think it was Discord, you would have to log into a chat room and then ask the thing to create an image for you in the chat room. Okay, so let's see. Alama and Huggin Face are open source. That's good to know. Huggin Face, is that how you say that? Huggin, is that like there's, oops, I closed the tab instead of opening it. Huggin Face. Oh yeah, no, I'm not, I feel like, what was there was a program with a similar name, Huggin or something like that I used to use where it would stitch images together to make panoramas or sphere photos for you. I think it was called Huggin, something like that, which I still actually use. I haven't used this in forever, so the battery's probably completely dead on it. This Samsung camera a friend gave me. And these cameras were stupid in the aspect of, to use them, you needed a Samsung camera, I believe, from my understanding, although people have created workarounds for it, to use it remotely. But you could also just turn it on, click the record button, 5-second countdown, it takes a picture, saves the SD card, and it would save 2 sphere images, which I would use Huggin or whatever that program was to stitch together, and actually wrote a bash script that automates it, and actually the script is on the SD card. So anytime I take it out of my phone, I plug it in, I run the script, and it stitches the images together for me. That's fun though. Better than spinning around 100 times with your cell phone trying to make a sphere image. And then I wrote some software back in the day in JavaScript, and I think I've done the same thing, and I put these in videos and posted online with Godot, where I have an interface that will view those in the full sphere format. Yeah, the 40s Club. It is amazing. I will say this. There's a lot of people things that people told me growing up, and a lot of them are wrong. They're, like when I was in high school is going to be the best years of your lives. And I loved high school. High school was fun, going there and hanging out with friends, but it was also miserable at the same time because you're a teenager. My life is so much better now. I love being an adult. A lot of people don't love being adults. I don't know. Maybe you made bad decisions. I don't know. I'm very happy. My life just keeps getting better besides the aches and pains, right? But something that people told me all the time, and it is so true, they're like, when you hit 40, your vision's going to go. And not right when I hit 40, but when I hit about 42, about 2 years ago, it was like night and day. All of a sudden, my vision just went. And I still don't need glasses. Every time I go to the eye doctor, I keep on expecting them to say, "You're ready for glasses." But they keep saying, "It's not bad enough yet. If you need readers, get readers." And I bought some readers, but I never used them. But it is very hard for me to focus on stuff where I used to have great vision. So yeah, when you turn 40, get ready to get glasses. People are right about that. Yeah, advice, don't get old. Of course, I have a saying. People will say it sucks getting old. I say